Hi guys, what class rock, country music facts, trivia. Thank you for being here. Today's video is on how Willie Nelson helped a young Charley Pride launch his country music career. So I kissed him on the lips. Willie Nelson has always been a real and authentic as they come. There are so many stories to capture his kind and loving spirit and also a sense of adventure, but most of them would not be truly complete without mentioning his best friend and longtime drummer, Paul English. Paul and Willie met in Fort Worth, Texas, when Willie was in his early 20s, just getting started as a DJ and aspiring songwriter and artist. Paul was a city boy and Fort Worth native, while Willie was certainly still a naive country boy from Abbott, Texas. They were quite literally thicker than thieves, and I mean that in both a literal and figurative sense. And Paul was a huge reason why Willie ultimately became the country music superstar and icon that we know and love today. He had an unwavering belief in his friend and talent, and the uncanny ability to pull off just about anything. In his 2022 book, Me and Paul, Untold Stories of Fabled Friendship, Willie tells plenty of never-before-heard stories about him and Paul and how they took on the world and the music industry together. One of the favorites that exemplifies who they both were as people happened in the late 60s when Willie was trying to make it in Nashville as a big star, though he had a strong and dedicated following back home in Texas. Willie had first met up-and-comer Charley Pride in Dallas, who at the time was being marketed to country music radio in a very different way than any other country artist. As this was in the late 60s and Charley was a black man, his label's RCA wouldn't include his photo on the records that were mailing to the radio stations. Most programmers didn't even know what he looked like until he showed up at the station to promote his music. But Willie being Willie and Paul being Paul, they weren't going to put up with any bullshit and made sure that the world knew how much they loved and adored Charley Pride. One evening at the Longhorn Ballroom, owner Dewey Groom, who Willie was friends with for many years, refused to let Charley sing because he was black. But Willie and Paul had a plan. They always did, just so you know. When Willie got on stage to perform, he introduced Charley to the crowd, which Dewey was unaware was going to happen. Paul English, a former pimp and all-around badass who was not one you ever want to mess with, had a hand on Dewey's shoulder and an eye on the crowd, ensuring no one would get hurt or hurt Charley. Dewey Groom wouldn't let him sing at the Longhorn Ballroom because Charley was black. Once again, Paul came to the rescue. He ushered Charley in through the stage door. When I got on stage, I introduced Charley. Paul kept a vigilant watch over the crowd. No one was going to hurt Charley, and because Paul had a strong arm on Dewey's shoulder, Dewey wasn't going to make a move. In an effort to prove just how much Willie loved Charley as an artist and person, Willie kissed him right on the lips in front of the whole crowd as a ringing endorsement. It worked, and later that night, Dewey and Pride got silly drunk together at an all-night pooling session. Charley came to the mic, and before he sang a note, just to make a point, I kissed him on the lips. When Dewey heard Charley singing Snakes Crawl at Night, he became a believer. Afterward, the two of them got silly drunk at an all-night guitar jam, which we call a pooling session, and wound up passed out on the same bed. Just another example of Willie Nelson bringing people together. The moment certainly struck with Pride, too, because in 2019 documentary about his life, Charley Pride, I'm Just Me, here's a shot of, right here, I'm sorry. He meets Willie Nelson and greets him with a big old kiss. It's hard to put it into words just how important the moment in the late 1960s was, but it certainly wouldn't have been possible, or at least successful, without the dynamic duo of Willie Nelson and Paul English. And really, the moment Charley kissed Willie when reuniting with him and Charley Pride, I'm Just Me documentary exemplifies how much it meant to him and stuck with him for his entire life. Charley planted one on Willie in return, and the pure love and adoration is palpable. I think that is so cool. And I'm here to tell you, Charley Pride is one of the greatest country singers of all time. Always said that. My dad introduced me to Charley Pride when I was a kid. And when I first heard his voice, I had no idea. But, I mean, this was later, you know, where he showed me his picture on the 8-track. And I was like, man, this cat is good. It didn't bother me. It didn't have nothing to do with the collar. I didn't understand why anybody would have an issue with it, really, because, I mean, the guy was just great. And I still love him. And as a matter of fact, my niece has got, her name's Angel, so you can imagine what her favorite song is. And she's quite young, so she even knows Charley Pride. You know, Kiss an Angel, Good Morning. Anyway, God bless you. Go listen to some Charley Pride and Willie Nelson. Please subscribe before you do that. Please like this video. You guys have a great day. God bless you, and I'm praying for you.